Hey, what up and welcome. I am Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. Let's continue with our TypeScript course. If TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, isn't that important that we first understand JavaScript? I've got a very different way of understanding JavaScript. Maybe if you might talk to a professional JavaScript developer, they might say, I disagree with Matthew. That's not how you are supposed to understand JavaScript. But this way of viewing JavaScript made JavaScript very simple and easy for me to understand what that is. Okay. First step, don't treat JavaScript as a language. Treat JavaScript as an object itself. Don't say JavaScript programming language. Maybe you might miss the essence of JavaScript. The reason why, at least by now, I understand JavaScript is just this simple secret. I view JavaScript as an object. I'm going to draw a structure of an object, and I want you to test it in your own understanding of JavaScript or in your journey to understand JavaScript. You will find this structure of an object very important, and also it will play a fundamental role in understanding TypeScript. Without wasting time, let's just jump straight into it. In JavaScript, there is something called an object. Let me draw an example of an object. Let's say we've got, let's say it's a courses object, let's say, let's say courses object. Okay. We've got a course object. Let me just change the color of my pen. Is this fine? Let me go for blue. Okay. Let's say we've got a courses object. Okay. Okay. This is how an object will look like in JavaScript. Okay. We will have a course name. We put this dot dot. Okay. And then the course name might be TypeScript. Okay. And then comma. And then let's say duration. Okay. Obviously, we are not sure how long this TypeScript course is going to be. But let's say for some reason, it's going to take 24 hours. Let's just type here 24. And that's it for this object. Let's just close it. So this is just a simple object. Maybe you are familiar with it. Maybe you have seen it before. Maybe it's something that you feel like, Matthew, what's so special about this object? Understanding what this is and how it's structured and how it works. It will give you a very important and a fundamental basics of understanding a lot of things around JavaScript. Okay. So this is important for you to understand. Okay. Let's get into details. Okay. This is an object. And then this object take a structure of a key / value pair. Okay. What does that mean? This is the key. This is the key. So as this one. And this string is the value. This is the key and this is the value. As you get into understanding or as you work with JavaScript, you will sooner realize that JavaScript revolves around this key value per object, such that I am bold to say JavaScript is not a programming language, it's an object in itself. Let me just take you through things that you will understand better when you understand this key value pair, okay? Particularly in the concept of React. Let's talk about props in a function, okay? Let's say this is a function. I'm just going to put only the function. This function is get courses, okay? Just a random name. In React, we've got props, okay? Props that we receive here in this function. And then we open and close this function, okay? What you will notice in these props, this as a prop is nothing much than what? Than an object. Let me write that here, okay? Because we are saying JavaScript is an object. Let me make it big here. JavaScript is an object. It's not a programming language, it's not a scripting language, but is an object. This will explain a lot of things when we continue with this course. It will also help you with your own understanding of JavaScript in general. Object, excuse my bad writing. Okay, let's continue. What are props? Okay, props are nothing much than an object. What do I mean by that? Okay, there is a key. Okay, there is a key and a value. Okay, let's say this value is going to be a string, and you will close the curly braces. If you've worked with with React, you will know that there is a key and a value. Even the props, they are the key and the value. Okay, let me just write somewhere else. Okay, this is just an introduction. I'm not going to mention a lot of places where the key and the value appears. I'm just going to give you an idea so that you can understand where I'm coming from. When I'm saying, if you don't understand an object, you might take time to understand JavaScript and even TypeScript. Okay, let's just continue. This was point number one. Point number two, when you are fetching data, okay, let me just say data fetching. When you are fetching data from the API, what do you get back? You get a JSON string, okay, which is you get, let's say, a JSON string, okay. Or we can say, obviously, you will convert that JSON string to a JSON object. Okay, what is a JSON string? A JSON string is nothing much than this object. Okay, that JSON string you get from calling an API. Let's say you are getting a list of movies or getting a list of courses from the API. Remember, an API has been designed in such a way that it produces or it gives back a JSON string. You can take that JSON string in JavaScript and convert it to a native object. You can use PHP to query the same API and get the JSON string, maybe convert it to an array or an associative array in PHP. As you can see, it's just a string, but you need to convert it to a native equivalent, an array or an associative array, or a JSON object in case of JavaScript. Okay, so what does a JSON string look like? Let me draw again how it looks like. Okay, there will be a key here and there will be a value here. Okay, maybe there might be this, or maybe there might be this, or maybe let's say it can be two string. Okay, more or less something like this. But the overall idea, it's going to be a string. Okay, and that is it. Now we are on the second place where you are even dealing with this object. Okay, we are in the context of JavaScript. Now let's continue and see how far this goes. Okay, let me just write here styling in React. Okay, if we have a React element, let's say this is h1. Okay, this is h1. We will have to style this h1. Okay, style. This is more like similar to your normal HTML and styling, but obviously you have to see how it's being done here on React. Excuse me. We are going to have a style equal to, okay, let me change the color there. We are going to open the first curly bracket. This is the first one. We are writing a style. Okay, does this look familiar? It looks like an object. Okay, let me draw the second curly braces. Okay, and then from there we might say color, and then we will say the color is, let's say, blue. Okay, I'm taking this slow for a reason. Please be patient and bear with me. Let's work together. I'm trying to convince you that JavaScript is an object. Okay, now as you can see, if you take this part, let me just change. Okay, if you take this part, you can see it looks like what? It looks like an object. Now we are in styling, but we even in styling we encounter an object. Okay, let's go to TypeScript. Okay, TypeScript types. Okay, let's create an interface. Okay, we're going to say interface. I'm not going to write much about these things. Interface, I'm going to make it let me just write it. Okay, because somebody might be confused. Okay, interface, let's say button props. Okay, this is our interface. How do we declare an interface? We open curly braces. Okay, let me do it like this and we'll close it here. Okay, and then somewhere in between, inside, we create our interface. Let's just create an interface for the previous object that we have created, which is the object of courses. Okay, in the previous screen, we had a name, which was a course name. What type of a variable was name? It was a string. Okay, then comma, and then we had a duration. Okay, what type of the data was duration? It was a number. Okay, let's go back. What do you see? As you can see, this is an object. Okay, lastly, obviously there is a lot of things that we can go through here and give like countless example of objects appearing everywhere in JavaScript. Okay, but let me just do the last one. Okay, now we were creating, like, we are on TypeScript types. So under this heading, we've got interfaces, also we've got types. Okay, we're creating a type in TypeScript. Let's say button prop again. Okay, so look at this. Button prop. This is how we declare it. Okay, close this. And then we are going to have the same thing like this one. We're going to have a name, okay, as a string, comma, and the duration as a number. Okay. Now I'm hoping you can see that the object in JavaScript, it's a big thing. So if you understand how it has been structured, how do you use it, how do you access it, and how in the later stage do you manipulate it. But for the sake of this course, we just need to understand the structure of it. Understanding this structure will make your life easier. It doesn't matter if this object appears as a styling mechanism, or it has been used in data fetching, or it has been used in making types. But the more you get familiar with it and understand it through and through, JavaScript and TypeScript will be easier for you. I promise. Stick with me, I'll make you famous. I'll take you places to see different faces. Let's continue. Okay. Okay. Let's continue, guys. So now we understand that we've got an object. Okay. An object is very important in JavaScript. Okay. Okay. So now we know the structure of an object, but we are just going to write here a simple structure of an object. Okay. Let's say const theme. Okay. As the theme colors. Okay, I didn't want to do that. That's an accident, but that's not much of a problem. Okay, and then we say primary, which is a primary color. And then we say this is blue. Okay, and that's it. Let's close this. As you can see, this is an object. Okay, more often than not, you are going to use an array of objects. Okay, more often than not, you are going to use an array of objects. Okay, this is just a simple object. Okay, let me type here an array of objects. Okay, so how does an array of object looks like? Okay, it just simply means it's a list of objects put inside an array. I would like to assume you know what an array is. In case maybe you might forget, an array is something like this. This is the variable name or the array name, and then we open the square bracket. We have number 1 as a string, comma, number 2 and number 3 as strings. This is an array. So if we are having an array of object, it just simply means we are taking this and we are putting it in here instead. You just remove the the string or the quotations. Okay, these quotation. Okay, so now let's just draw a structure of an array. Okay, an array of objects. Okay, it's going to be something like this. Okay, primary color. let's say red, close this curly brace, and then comma, let's say primary, let's say secondary, let's just say, or let's just say primary again. Okay, now let me make this clear. Okay, now let's say blue. Okay, and then we are going to wrap this in an array. Okay, at position 0 of this array, we've got this object. Okay, maybe it's a primary color for a button, let's say. Okay, and then here at position 1, we've got a different primary color. Okay, which is the primary color, it's blue. I hope you get the concept of an array of objects. Okay, so also this is some sort of a data, let me say a shape of data or a data structure that you sometimes get from fetching an API, even though you'll receive it as a string, but you might use it. Okay, so this understanding will help you, or this object or structure will always appear as we are talking. And what I like about it, it will always appear as it is. Whether it's in styling, whether it's in types, whether it's in props, but it will always appear like this. As much as this is a TypeScript course, but it was very important for us to understand what is important in JavaScript. So obviously, you can go to Google and search in also other YouTube videos and understand about JavaScript object. But basically, this is a JavaScript object. As we continue, you are going to see a lot of these structures. So when we are using these structures, I will always remind you, this is an object. Okay, if I had a chance, I was just going to always play a bell, ding ding, so that I can remind you that this is the JavaScript object, so that you can see what I said in this video, that it's very important to understand the objects in JavaScript. As soon as you understand them, it will take you far. I'm Matthew Msengati, the designer and developer. If you feel like this is adding value into your overall understanding of TypeScript, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. See you on the next one.